Hello. Alright. Can you guys hear me, see me clearly, and also see my screen? Just want to make sure that you guys are able to do all of the above. Okay, let's maybe wait for a couple of minutes before we begin the webinar. Alright, let's wait for people to come in before we begin. Alright. Okay, I think maybe we can begin the session. Alright, so welcome back to another pre-markets live analysis brought to you by IC Markets. Okay, as usual, this is the disclaimer. Remember that everything in this webinar is educational in nature and nothing should be construed as investment or trading advice. Alright, so please remember to do your own due diligence before you guys trade. Okay, so for the agenda, we'll be covering two very simple things. One, which is high impact news events for the week, and secondly will be key technical setups to watch out for. Okay, so I'm your host for today. My name is Woon Hong, and I'll be going through with you today's pre-markets live analysis. Alright, so for the key news events for the upcoming week ahead, alright, Monday we have no news. Alright, so this would mean that the markets will be a bit slower than normal. Alright, then for Tuesday we have CAD CPI. Alright, so this will affect affect pairs such as USD CAD, CAD JPY, NZD CAD, etc. Alright, if you guys trade those pairs. And then for Wednesday we have NZD and GBP news. NZD will be official cash rate, monetary policy statement, and then for GBP will be GBP CPI. Yes, of course, Ren. Hi, Ren. We will go through, yes, as usual, we will go through any pairs that you guys want me to go through with you. So do feel free to type it in the chat below, and I'll just go through the pairs that you guys want me to. Alright. Okay, then for Thursday, we have USD FOMC meeting minutes, as well as Euro German flash manufacturing and flash services PMI, and then we have GBP flash manufacturing PMI and flash services PMI, and then lastly we have USD unemployment claims, as well as USD flash manufacturing and flash services PMI. Okay, then Friday we have Fed Chair Powell speaking. Okay, so for Thursday, it will affect quite a few pairs such as USD, Euro, and GBP. Alright, so now let's move on to the exciting part. Okay, let's go through the DXY first. Okay, so this will be the DXY chart on the daily. Okay, so let's start off with our pivot point. Okay, so DXY has been it was trying to recover actually, right? This area it was trying to recover, but price is starting to fall. But the good thing is price didn't come down to this low yet. It has created a higher low, right? You can see it created a higher high. Right now it's creating a higher low. Okay, so what I am looking at is that DXY could possibly react to this area and aim to create a higher high. Alright, so let me put this as my pivot point. Okay, and as for my support, my first support will be right at this swing low support level over here. Okay, then as for my resistance, I will place my resistance right about here. Resistance, okay? This is what I am looking at for DXY. Alright, then for our, let me see. Let me see, we can't draw. Okay, yeah, I think we can't draw any Fibo because if we draw a Fibo right here, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Alright, so as you can see right now, price is falling towards our pivot point area right here. Okay, so once it falls below here, what we want to see is we want to see a closure above this pivot point. Alright, then we can expect DXY to go up. So if DXY is going up, any pairs, so let me put this here, DXY go up equals right, any pairs that ends with USD will naturally go down. Alright, so this is the part and parcel of trading. Alright, but this doesn't really happens all the time. So you have to take note of these pairs, alright, like euro dollar, pound dollar, and gold. Alright. Okay, so let me see. Let me just put an arrow right here. Bullish arrow. Okay, now let's take a look at, okay, so once we are done with DXY, okay, just a little trick, little support and resistance trick, right? If I were to come in closer, we can see we have a bullish engulfing candle over here, followed by two consecutive bullish candles. Alright, so once we have a bullish engulfing candle, and then we have two consecutive bullish candles, what we can expect next is that usually what I'll do is to highlight the top of the candle, the body, to the bottom of the candle, this level. So price will usually okay, react to this range. Alright, so this is a trick that I would like to tell you guys. Let's just name it our point of interest. Okay, point of interest, yeah. Okay, this is our point of interest. Okay, so once price reacts here, then I will start to trade on other pairs. Alright, so yeah, Nick, this is a very simple analysis of DXY. Alright, so my analysis is that DXY will create a high in the future. Right, it will work towards a higher high because what I am looking at is that price might not close below this level right here because we are on the daily chart. Alright, and daily chart usually it's quite accurate. And then if you look at, yeah, daily is fine. If you open the Ichimoku cloud, okay, price is starting to bounce off the bottom of the bearish Ichimoku cloud to create a, you can see right here, price could potentially create a bullish Ichimoku cloud in time to come. Alright, so this is my analysis for DXY. Okay, so now let's take a look at AUD USD. Okay, So for AUD USD, what I am looking at is, let me see, I think we have a strong level right here, because AUD USD has been hovering above this range for quite some time. Alright, you can see how price reacted very nicely towards this swing low support level. Okay, so once we see how price reacts very nicely to such a swing low support level, we can expect the same thing to happen right here. Alright, even though we have a break of structure, right, but we can see that price might react here, come up towards this level and fall. Alright, so this is, I would say this is another opportunity to catch price movement over here. Alright, so let's place this as our pivot point. Okay, so let's place this as our pivot point. Our resistance level would be at the top of this range. Resistance, okay, then first resistance. Okay, then as for our support, right, our support will be roughly about this level right here, which is our pullback support level. Okay, let me mark this out, see if we are able to find any yeah, okay, so we have this 78.6% feasible projection right here for price to fall towards our pivot point. Alright, then let me see if I'm able to find. Yeah, I think that is it for AUD USD. Pretty simple trade. I would have sold. Okay, so this level where price reacted to, right? You might wonder why price reacted to this area. Is because we have our fair value gap right here. Alright, then if it aligns with, you can see how it aligns with our 61.8% feasible retracement level. So what I will do is to enter a short position right here, TP, take profit, yeah, right about here. Okay, but right now let's focus on the opportunity ahead. So we can see, I think for risk to reward wise, it will be more sound for price to bounce off this pivot point right here. Okay, then what I will do is to create a long position. You can place your stop loss below this low actually, right? And then your TP will be back to this high. But if you do something like this, you will only get a risk to reward ratio of 1:1.5. Alright, so what I'll do is to place my stop loss slightly below here to get a better risk to reward ratio. Okay, so this is my analysis for AUD USD. Alright, so now let me cover some of the other majors. Okay, for euro dollar, you can see how euro dollar is actually rising, right? Let me see. Rising. Okay, so what I will see is, since my analysis for DXY is for it to come down and react to this pivot point, then my analysis for euro dollar will go down. Okay, so I will expect euro dollar to react to this swing high resistance level over here. Alright, then as for my resistance, oh sorry, this is my resistance, this is my, okay, this is my resistance and this is my pivot point. Okay, so this is my pivot point, and as for my support, right, my support will be at this swing low support level right here. Okay, so this could be a potential swing trade, right, because we have firstly a change of character right here. Alright, then I am expecting for price to react to this supply zone over here. Okay, you can see how price is already slowly coming up to our supply zone and starting to react to our supply zone. All right, so this is what I am looking at for euro dollar. Okay, then let me see. Supply zone. Yep, I think this is fine. Okay, then let me see. Okay, let me see how this might work out. Supply zone. Okay, then. Okay, I think this is very simple. Let me see. Okay, above bullish Ichimoku cloud, and then okay, yeah. Okay, now let's move on to GBP USD. Okay, so for GBP USD, you can see how it is reacting to this swing high resistance level over here. All right, so let's see. I think for GBP USD, most likely it will be bearish, but let me see when it will be bearish. Okay, so I would say, wait, let me see, 127.2. Okay, so I would expect price to take out this high. All right, so once price take out this high and forms a Nike tick, right, it will most probably react to this level over here, which is at the 127.2% Fibo retracement level. All right, so let me just mark this out. This is my pivot point. Okay, so this will be my pivot point, and then let me see. Let me look at H4. Yeah, wait, euro dollar, okay, pound dollar. Yep, okay, I think for pound dollar, we will play it a little bit safer. We will place our pivot point right here in case price forms a Nike tick, and then this is our 127.2% Fibo extension level. All right, then as for our resistance, we will refer to the left side. Okay, so our pivot point is around here, so our resistance will be at this swing high resistance level over here. Okay, this swing high resistance level. Oh wait, let me see. Yeah, I think you can place it slightly higher. Yeah, we can place it slightly higher because if you look on H4, we have multiple touches over here, so we shall use this instead, and I think it gives us a little bit more space to breathe from here. All right, so let's say price comes up to this area, right? Our target is gradually around this swing low support level over here. All right, so if I were to do this, our support, Let me see which one makes a little bit more sense. 100%. Price reacts here. Reacts here. Okay, yeah, I think this makes a little bit more sense for my support to be around this level. Okay, first support. Okay, so why I would choose this first support level is what I am looking at is for at least price to come towards this level before we face the first obstacle. Alright, this will be great, like this level will be great. However, I feel that price would react to this level instead before it starts to show any reaction. Alright, let me see H4. Yeah, okay, I think this is fine. Okay, so what I'm looking at is for price to swing down towards this first support level over here. Okay, so now let's take a look at USD/JPY. Alright, so for USD/JPY, it will naturally follow DXY. So if DXY is looking to go up, then our bias for USD/JPY will be bullish as well. Alright, so if you look right here, okay, if you look right here, let me see. Alright, this multi-swing low support level will be my pivot point. Okay, so once price comes back to this level, I will enter buys. And then for my support will be this multi-swing low support level over here. First support. Okay, then naturally my target will be at this swing high resistance level. Okay, then let me see if I'm able to mark a fib 61.8%. Okay, 61.8% Fibo retracement level. Okay, then let me see if I'm able to draw a projection. Nope, projection doesn't work. Okay, so our pivot point aligns with this 61.8% Fibo retracement level. Alright, then this first support is our multi-swing low support level, and of course our first resistance level is a overlap resistance level over here. Okay, so this is what I am looking at for my USD/JPY trade. Okay, this is a bullish arrow. Alright, so what I would like to see is for price to consolidate, and then we have a reaction upwards here. So let me see Ichimoku cloud. Yeah, we are still above the bullish Ichimoku cloud, so this indicates a buy opportunity for USD/JPY. Alright, now let's move on to USD/CHF. Okay, so for USD/CHF, right, I would like to see a buy opportunity right here for USD/CHF, right about here. Okay, so why is because we already have a change of character right here. Alright, so I would like to see for price to break out of this level. Okay, so this is basically like a, if you go to H4, right, if you go to H4, you can see how price is in a pattern, right? It is consolidating right here and waiting to break out towards the upside. Alright, so usually once we have patterns like this, right, this is the upward movement. Alright, then we have consolidation inside here. Alright, then price will naturally break out of this level. Alright, Okay, so let me mark this out. This is my pivot point. Okay, this is my pivot point, and as for my support, I will choose this as my swing low support level. Don't put it too far. Alright, then as for my resistance, my first resistance level, I will put it at this swing high resistance level over here. Alright, let me see. Price has been reacting nicely over here. I think right at the 61.8%. Right, slightly above the 61.8% feeble retracement level. Alright, then let me see if I'm able to mark out a fib. Yeah, so right here, right, this level aligns with the our pivot point aligns with the 100% feeble projection level, as well as the 61.8% feeble retracement level. Alright, so this allows price to have a bounce upwards. Okay, what we are looking at is a bounce upwards. Alright, and I think it's a pretty simple trade. Let's just wait patiently for price to fall back to our pivot point again, and then we will enter buys from here. Alright, and also just to take note, I also saw a fair value gap over here which has been untapped yet. Alright, a daily fair value gap which is untapped. Right, you can see a fair value gap over here. Alright, so price will most likely be drawn towards this fair value gap, touch it, and rise towards the first resistance level over here. Alright, okay, now let's move on to USD CAD. Oh, before I move on to USD CAD, any questions so far? Okay, any questions so far? If you guys have any questions, just type it in the chat below and I will answer your questions. Let me see USD CAD. Okay, let's move on to USD CAD. Okay, so for USD CAD, we can see right here. Let me see. So for USD CAD, right, I am looking for price to show confirmation, right? I would like price to have a break out of this structure, all right, breaking out of this high over here. Why? Is because we have a break of structure right here. We have break of structure, and then we also have a higher low created. So I'm looking for price based on market structure. I'm waiting for price to create, to bounce off, and then retest, and then come towards at least this high over here. Okay, so this is what I am looking at for USD CAD. Alright, so I would say this is not really a pivot, but let me just put it at a pivot point. Okay, then I am expecting for price to come towards this level over here, our first resistance. Alright, and as for support, I'll place this as my first support level over here. Okay, then I'm waiting for a breakout towards the upside. Yes, something like this. Very simple trade. Okay, but of course, in order for us to confirm our trade for this, right, when price breaks out of this high, what we want to see is a nice retest on this pivot point. Oh yes, we haven't do XAU USD. We will do it in a bit, right? I will be covering NZD USD, and then after that we will move on to gold. All right. Oh, Watson, I went through USD CHF already, but after this I can go back to USD CHF. All right. Okay, so for this trade USD CAD, what I'm looking at is for price to have a nice breakthrough of this high, and then after that a retest, and then to work towards the first resistance level. Alright, so this is just a pretty simple trade, I would say. Let me see. Our first resistance level aligns almost nicely with the 78.6% Fibo projection level over here. Alright, so we could see price rising. We are already seeing price rising towards our pivot point, and then we want to see a break of structure and then a retest. Alright, okay, so I think it's pretty simple. Let's go to USD CHF. Alright, so for USD CHF, just a little recap for one of our viewers to catch up. Alright, so for USD CHF, what I am looking at, so if you look at H4, you can see it's pretty messy, right? Price is consolidating, and then if you go to Ichimoku cloud, it's a little bit bearish, right? Bearish is good. Why? I want it to come towards our pivot point. Okay, so once it comes to our pivot point, what I am expecting is for price to react towards this pattern right here. Very nice consolidation within this level, waiting for a breakout towards this upside. Okay, so just to make sure that it's not too messy. Alright, so what I am looking at is for price to come towards this first pivot point, alright, which aligns with the 61.8%. okay, 61.8% Fibo retracement, and then aligning with the 100% Fibo projection. Alright, so this gives us a Fibo confluence for price to react to this level. Okay, so I think it's a very simple trade. Simple in a way that we are just waiting patiently for price to come towards our pivot point, and then our target is of course this first resistance level over here. Okay, so this is my target for USD CHF. Alright, so now let me take a look at NZD USD. Alright, then I will have covered all the majors. Okay, so for NZD USD, I think similarly to AUD USD, what I am essentially looking at is for price to wait, let me see. NZD USD, okay, NZD USD. Yeah, okay, so what I'm looking at is for price to react to this multi-swing low support level over here. Okay, then what I am looking at is for my first support to be at this level to give it space to breathe. Okay, and then for our target will be this first resistance level over here. Okay, I think for this NZD USD trade, we actually have a Fibo retracement, which is 78.6% Fibo retracement over here. Alright, so yeah, this could potentially be a level for price to bounce up, okay, and then target this first resistance level over here. Alright, if you look at market structure, even though we can see market structure very nicely. We have a lot of break of structures and then creating lower high and lower lows, right? But essentially what we can see is that this pivot point could be a turning point for NZD USD. Alright, because if we are looking at DXY will have a bounce. NZD USD, yeah. Okay, I think it's pretty straightforward for NZD USD. Let me see. Is there projection? No, we don't have projection. Okay, so this is for NZD USD. Okay, any questions so far? Just to make sure, just want to make sure that you guys are able to be on track. Alright, so now let's move on to let's look at oil. Okay, let's look at oil. Then we will go through gold. Alright, so looking at oil, oil is actually not doing well, right? It has been on the decline since June. Alright, I saw a glimpse of hope when it actually shot up here to $70 per barrel, but after that it started to decline. Okay, so for oil, what I am looking at is for it to actually react to this swing low support level over here. Okay, let me see. Yeah, pivot point. This is my support. This is my resistance. Okay, alright, so let me just break it down a little bit for you guys. Alright, so why I chose this as my pivot point is because of this level. Let me see. Yeah, it aligns very nicely at this 78.6% Fibo retracement level over here. Alright, so this could indicate a bounce from this area. Alright, then why I chose this as my first resistance level is because this is a nice pullback resistance level over here. Alright, if I were to mark out a, yeah, it's at the 38.2% Fibo retracement level over here. Alright, so yes, what I am looking at is essentially for price to react to this pivot point to rise towards this first resistance level over here. Okay, I think it's pretty straightforward. Nothing fancy. Wait, let me see if I'm able to find 161. Okay, yes, we also have a feeble projection right here, which aligns with our pivot point. So in all, for our pivot point, we have 78.6% feeble projection as well as 78.6% feeble retracement level, which gives us feeble confluence at this area. Okay, I think it's pretty straightforward. Okay, now let's move on to the exciting part, which is gold. Okay, so you can see how gold has been reacting around this level. So gold has this pattern, right? You can see created a higher high, change of character, and then reacted to this level, right? Which was this high. Okay, then the next thing is same thing. It happened again, right? Head and shoulders, change of character, reacted to this level over here. Alright. So if you were to analyze it correctly, right, head and shoulders, change of character, react, and then price will react to this swing low support level over here. So what I'm looking at is the same repeat of the same thing, right, for price to react to this multi swing low support level at this area here. Alright, so let's see, right here, yeah, this shall be my pivot point. Okay, this is my pivot point, and as for my support, I'll just give it a little bit more range, right, for price to breathe. Alright, this is just a range, doesn't mean that is my stop loss. Alright, and then for my first resistance level is back at this swing high resistance point. Alright, so if I were to use projection, you can see how price will fall towards this 78.6% feeble projection over here. Alright, and then let me see, yeah, I think there are multiple times that price reacted to this feeble 50%, 61. Yeah, let me draw it a little bit. Yeah, okay, so I think this is nothing too complicated, right? Let me see. Yeah, so what I might be looking at, you can see how price is reacting to this bullish Ichimoku cloud. So I am expecting it to actually fall towards this level over here, the bottom of this bullish Ichimoku cloud, for it to rise towards this first resistance level over here. Okay, so this is essentially what I am looking at for gold. Alright, so I think for Monday we won't have much movement because we don't have any high impact news, but for, let me see, but for, I think for Thursday, by Thursday it will start to come towards this level over here. Let me see how many pips is this. Okay, this is about 600 pips. Yeah, so this is about 600 pips. Okay, so for it to move 600 pips is about, you can expect maybe 1 to 2 days for it to reach about 600. 1 to 3 days for it to reach 600 pips. Okay, yeah, so this is for gold. I think it's nothing too fancy, nothing too complicated. Alright, if we go down to H4, right, H4, we can see there is an opportunity right here. Why is because right above we have a fair value gap. So we have a fair value gap, and then we have a order block over here. Alright, so you can see how price is reacting to the fair value gap. Alright, but most probably this fair value gap will not be able to hold, and it might actually just react to this order block instead. Alright, so this could be a potential buy opportunity for gold. And as you can see previously, how many times it reacted to this level. So potentially you can see price reacting to this level as well. Okay. Alright, now let me take a look at indices. Oh wait, let me place this. Alright, any questions so far? I think it should be pretty straightforward. Nick, any questions for gold? As you wanted to look at gold, right? See. Okay, that's great. All right, let me cover a few indices and then let me do my favorite pair. All right, my favorite pair, if you guys know, my favorite pair is actually GBP JPY. I think I think it's better. Oh wait, let me see. Yeah, same, right? I was looking at sell opportunities, right? If you were to look on H4, if you were to look at the H4 is definitely bearish, right? But for H4, I don't have any entries because it's kind of messy right now. Okay, the only thing I could have thought of was probably this level, right? This supply zone area. But you can see how price didn't even come up to this supply zone, right? It just is just aiming to break structure over here. All right, it's just aiming to break structure, all right, to fill up this fair value gap. Okay, so I think for gold, I'll tend to play a little bit safer, right? This seems like a good opportunity for a buy, right? From this range, yeah, this range over here. All right, it's either 2.3293 or 3271. I think these two areas are good areas for buy opportunities. Other than that, anything else on H4 or H1 time frame, I wouldn't enter. You can see how price is have a very nice lower low, lower high, lower low, and then it starts to consolidate, right? What we can expect next is lower low, and then lower high, and then lower low. Okay, so this, I think gold so far is making pretty simple and straightforward moves. It's not as bad as last time, right? I think it's pretty, you can see how it reacts very nicely to this pullback level over here. All right, so I think for gold it's pretty straightforward, nothing too fancy or complicated. Okay, now let me take a look at indices. Okay, so for indices, right, let me see how S&P. Oh, S&P is doing pretty well. Wow, S&P is doing amazing. Okay, now let's take a look. So for US 30, all right, US 30, this is actually a very nice level for sales. right, at this multi swing high level. Even on the H4 is somewhat showing movements already. Let me see. Yeah, and we already have a change of character right here. Okay, so on daily, price is trying to reject this high. Alright, we have a change of character, and what I will expect next is for it to be bearish. So that's why I will place this as my pivot point. And then for just in case, right, for Nike, I am expecting a Nike tick as well. So 127.2. I would place this a tighter stop loss, right? Let me see. Yeah, this shall be my first resistance. Alright, then as for my support, right, this shall be my support area here. Right, I don't want to put it too far. Right, this is a nice support as well, but I will place it slightly above, right about here. Alright, then let me see. Is there 100? No, we don't have. Okay, so I think it's pretty straightforward. Just a bearish trade over here. Let me look at the. Okay, still very bullish. Yeah. So let's wait for the daily candle to close before I enter any trade for US30. Right, I think it'll be a pretty good risk to reward ratio. Even if I were to enter here, and then my stop loss will be above here. My risk to reward ratio 1:2. I think it's fine. Okay. Right. Let's go Germany 40. I think for Germany 40, about the same thing as well. What we are looking for is for it to react nicely to this pivot point. Alright, then if I were to draw, let me see. I think I can use this as my expansion level. Yep, I think this is fine. I can use this expansion level as my first resistance. Alright, then as for my support will be this swing low support level over here. Okay, then this is what I'm looking at is for a drop. Let me see if I'm able to find a projection. Yeah, okay, so our pivot point aligns with the 78.6% Fibo projection, and our first resistance aligns with the 100% Fibo projection over here. Okay, so I could expect for price to have either react to our pivot point or the first resistance level. Alright, so last thing, let's take a look at S&P 500. Okay, so for S&P, right, if we look at, let me just look at this, then 127. Yeah, okay, so let me see, 161, 112. Okay, so I think this level over here will be a nice pivot point, just a pullback support level. Alright, then for our this swing low support level, multi swing low support level shall be our first support. Alright, then of course for our resistance we have our 161.8% Fibo resistance level. Alright, so this is my first resistance, and then I am looking for a buy opportunity. Alright, so I think this is pretty straightforward as well. Oh, it's supposed to be green. Okay, so I think this is straightforward. Yeah, let's actually see how this plays out, because I am interested in how S&P would it's either it will continue to rise towards this first resistance level or actually fall towards the first support level, because it has been creating new highs, right, all-time highs. Okay, so yeah, let's just see how this might play out. Okay, that is all from me to you guys. Thank you guys for joining in to today's pre-market live analysis and for engaging with me, and I hope that you guys stay safe and trade safe. All right, I shall see you guys again next time. Okay, bye bye.